Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Continuing category, withdrawal of the cosmic creations, chapter 23, the demigods regain the heavenly planets. Text 1. Shri Shukavacha
Ishwaravacha.
Yuktavantam Purusham Puratanam
Yuktavantam Purusham Puratanam.
Mahanubhavo Kila Sadhu Sammata
Mahanubhavo Akhila Sadhu Sammata.
Patanjali Baspa Kalakulekshano
Patanjali Bhashpa Kalakulekshano.
Bhakti Kalo Gadaya Gira Prade
Bhakti Kalodaya Gira Bhavit.
Sukadeva Goswami said, when the Supreme Ancient Eternal Personality of Godhead had thus spoken to Bali Maharaj, who is universally accepted as a pure devotee of the Lord and therefore a great soul, Bali Maharaj, his eyes filled with tears, his hands folded and his voice faltering in devotional ecstasy, responded as follows. Next to Sri Bali Vacha
Vacha.
Aho Pranamaya Krita Samudyama
Aho Pranamaya Krita Samudmaya.
Prapanna Bhaktartha Vidau Samahita
Prapanna Bhakta Vidau Samahita.
Yaloka Stadanugraho Marai
Yalokapalaya Svananugraho Mare.
Alabdha Purvo Pasade Sure Pita
Adalapurvo Pasade Sura.
Bali Maharaj said, what a wonderful effect there is in even attempting to offer respectful obeisances to you. I merely endeavored to offer you obeisances, but nonetheless, the attempt was as successful as those of pure devotees. The causeless mercy you have shown to me, a fallen demon, was never achieved even by the demigods or the leaders of the various planets. He's saying that he wanted to pay obeisance, but because of all the other demons and so on at that time, he wasn't able to pay obeisance. So then, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord is so merciful, however, that although Bali Maharaj did not actually offer obeisances, but only endeavored to do so within his mind, the Supreme Personality of Godhead blessed him with more mercy than even the demigods could ever expect. So even thinking nicely of the Lord is favorable. You just have to think, oh, he's so wonderful, and that's it, so amazing. So that's exactly what happened. Actually, there's another thing that I've heard, I have not read, that in the same arena, when Vamanadev appears, his sister looks at Vamanadev and she was thinking, oh, he's such a wonderful person, I wish I had a son like him. She thinks. And then when he ties up Bali Maharaj, then she says, I want to kill him. So in her next life, it is said that she takes birth as Putana.
Who wants to kill Bali Maharaj?
Bali's
Sister.
Bali Maharaj's sister.
Sister. Okay.
She initially thought like her son or something, and then
Yeah, initially she said, she felt, oh, it's so beautiful, I wish he was like my son.
Like wow.
yeah,
Therefore she gets Krishna.
So then later on she gets angry with him and says, I wish I could kill him. So then, because of that, it is said, I haven't really
just by
read
the
it.
thought.
Yeah, so the Lord fulfilled her desires in that way. It's like, amazing, because he really gave her a place in Goloka. So we can't understand sometimes, but here you can see Bali Maharaj thought of offering, and because the super soul is in the heart, he understood his mind very nicely. So then Prabhupada says, literal service is so important. So he quotes the verse, even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. And then Prabhupada defines another word regarding the Supreme Lord. Bhava Grahi Janardana. That means whatever you may have qualities, he only takes the best out of you. He only sees the best in you. Bhava Grahi Janardana. He takes only the essence of the devotee's attitude. If a devotee sincerely surrenders, the Lord as the super soul in everyone's heart immediately understands this. So even though you may be thinking other things, he's not so worried about that. But the fact that you thought nicely of him, that is more, the Lord is so happy with that.
Like a swan, he picks all the
Yeah,
good.
the good in you. Yeah, the rest is not so worried. So that's also a very nice quality of the Lord.
Good to know.
Good to know.
Sometimes we feel too guilty if we
Yeah.
become lazy a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, right. When you understand this, then you know at least the
Okay.
Lord will know that I'm a sincere person also. I may still have some chance.
Sometimes.
But it's nice. It's really nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Text 3. Shri Shuka Vacha Yudva Harim Anatya Brahmanam Sabhavam Tata Vesha Sutalam Prito Balir Mukta Sahasurai. Sukadeva Goswami continued, after speaking in this way, Bali Maharaj offered his obeisances first to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari and then to Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Thus he was released from the bondage of the Naga Pasha, the ropes of Varuna, and in full satisfaction he entered the planet known as Sutala. So immediately from heavenly planet he's immediately transferred. So like a doorway is open and he can just walk to Sutala. So the technology is just something we can only dream of. And definitely the materialists are thinking of what they call that you can transform the matter from one place to another place. Yeah. Teleportation, yeah. So they are thinking like that. They are trying, but they don't know how to do it. But it's already there. Such things are already there. Things that we find in the material world, it's already there. It's just that how you manipulate the energy. Just like, the yogis can fly from one place to another. Now we have aeroplanes. Same potency is in the aeroplane, but then it's very crude.
Gross.
And it actually makes the place, contaminates the place. Whereas the yogis can just meditate and move from one place to another. They can walk on the sun rays also. Yeah. So such is the technology. We can say, the spiritual technology is far superior to the gross material technology. Text 4. Evam Indraya Bhagavan Pratyaneya Trivistapam Purayitva Kamam Asasat Sakalam Jagat. Thus, having delivered the proprietorship of the heavenly planets to Indra and having fulfilled the desire of Aditi, mother of the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ruled the affairs of the universe. So now Indra got what he wanted, Aditi got what she desired, and they are all happy. Text 5. Labda prasadam nirmuktam Pautram vamshadaram balim Nishamya bhakti pravana Pralada idam abravi. When Prahlad Maharaj heard how Bali Maharaj, his grandson and descendant, had been released from bondage and had achieved the benediction of the Lord, he spoke as follows in a tone of greatly ecstatic devotion. So Prahlad Maharaj was also very happy that his grandson got benediction. Which parent won't be, Text 6. Shri Pralada Uvacha
Sri Prahlada Vacha
Nemam Viruncho Labate Prasadam
Nemam Virincho Lavade Prasadam
Na Shri Na Sarva Kim Uta Parenye
Rajye Dasarva Kimuta Parenge
Yanno Suranam Asi Durga Palo
Yano Suranam Asidurga Palo
Vishwa Vivandir Avivanditangrihi. Chapter 23, Text 6. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are universally worshipped. Even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva worship your lotus feet. Yet although you are such a great personality, you have kindly promised to protect us, the demons. I think that such kindness has never been achieved even by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, or to speak of other demigods or common people. So he's giving them the Sutala and he's saying, I'm going to personally stay and protect you. So no other personalities have been given such benediction. So the purport is nice. Srila Prabhupada says the word Durga Pala is significant. The word Durga means that which does not go very easily. Generally, Durga refers to a fort which one cannot very easily enter or even come out. Another meaning of Durga is difficulty. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead promised to protect Bali Maharaj and his associates from all dangers, he is addressed here as Durga Pala, the Lord who gives protection from all miserable conditions. Very nice. Text 7. Yadpada Padma Makaranda Nishevanena
Yatpada Padma Makaranda Nishevanena
Brahmadaya Sharanadashnuvate Vibhutihi
Brahmadaya Sharanadasnute Vibhuti
Kasmadvayam Kushitaya Kalayo Nayaste
Kasmadvayam Kushtaya Kalayo Nayaste
Dakshinya Dristi Padavim Bhavata Pranitaha.
Dashinya Rishi Padavim Bhavata Pranita
The supreme shelter of everyone, great personalities like Brahma enjoy their perfection simply by tasting the honey of rendering service at your lotus feet. But as for us, who are all rogues and debauchees, born of an envious family of demons, how have we received your mercy? It has been possible only because your mercy is causeless. Let's see how Prahlad Maharaj is praying. So humble. Text 8. Chitram tavehitamahho mitayogamaya
Chitram Tavedamaho Amita Yoga Maya
Nila visvishta bhuvanasya visharadasya
Leela Vishishya Bhuvanasya Visaradasya
Sarvatmana samadrisho vishama svabhavo
Sarvamana Samadrisho Vishama Svabhavo
Bhakta priyo yarasi kalpataru svabhavaha
Bhakta Priyo Yadasi Kalpataru Svabhava
O my Lord, your pastimes are all wonderfully performed by your inconceivable spiritual energy and by her perverted reflection, the material energy. You have created all the universes. As the supersoul of all living entities, you are aware of everything and therefore you are certainly equal toward everyone. Nonetheless, you favor your devotees. This is not partiality, however, for your characteristics is just like that of a desired tree, which yields everything according to one's desire. So that means a Lord is equal to everyone as a super soul. So Prabhupada quotes that famous verse, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Vishti Na Priyaha. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone, unequal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So he is equal to all living entities, but towards a devotee, he treats them differently.
Okay.
Because the
And wants to
devotee is always trying to serve and surrenders to the Lord, whereas a non-devotee, they are not interested in that, right?
Yep.
That's the difference. And in the same purport, Srila Prabhupada says, or he gives an example, the king or government is equal to all citizens generally, right? Therefore, if a citizen capable of receiving special favors from the government is offered such favors, this does not mean that the government is partial. Right? Sometimes they say if you buy a car, you can apply for some deduction in your income tax. Now, if everyone takes advantage, they get the mercy of the government. If they don't, then they don't get, they can't complain.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. There are two classes of men, the demons and the demigods. The demigods are fully aware of the Supreme Lord's position and therefore they are obedient to him. But even if demons know about the supremacy of the Lord, they purposely defy his authority. You can understand now. There's two mood here. One will take and do it without question. The other one will question and defy. So that's why when we approach the spiritual master, you are told that you cannot
say defy. Cannot defy.
Cross question.
cross question, cross examination.
Just
What is the
become like
mood?
Stupid.
Humility. Yeah. One shouldn't challenge. Srila Prabhupada uses the word challenge. So so in the same way, when the guru says if one is not able to understand, one can propose a question in a humble way, saying, "I do not understand. Could you please clarify?" Like that. But you can see here the demons. They even though they know the Lord is great, they purposely defy His authority. Sometimes your children, when you're raising them, you tell them don't do it, and then you go out of the room, they will do it somehow. So they try to see how much they can push the boundaries. So if you are like Bhadra, Kali, or what is that? Like Shiva's anger, Dandavan anger, then they will not defy authority. But otherwise, they will defy authority. So because of this attitude, the spiritual master will therefore show more mercy to those disciples who are willing to follow his instructions naturally. Similarly, the parents also will show more affection to that child in their family who's more affectionate and willing to do more service. They have equal love for everyone, but they are more partial towards those who are willing to serve them.
Actually, my Guru Maharaj once in the Vyasa Puja lecture, he said, some of you are listening to me more and you are following the instructions better, and therefore you have more mercy. He openly said that.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. So because of that, the Lord makes distinctions according to our mentality. So if you want to make advancement, we have to surrender, cry also, and do what he wants, not do what we want.
Comply.
Yeah. We always like to say we have all these problems. Because imagine, this is only one universe full of so many living entities. Trillions of living entities in one universe. And there's unlimited universes. And he has to take care of all of them. And you don't find him complaining. So at least you can do is show some regard to his instructions. So then in the final statement, Srila Prabhupada says, one who takes shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord is favored by the Lord. Okay, that's the key for you to take away. That if you want his mercy, you must take his shelter. How to take his shelter? His devotees and the spiritual master. And then, this is the punchline, regardless of whether such a person is a demon or a demigod. So even if you feel you are unqualified or what, but at least if you do follow your best, the Lord will give you some mercy. Yeah? So don't take it for granted what Srila Prabhupada has given us. X9. Oh, you have Tulsi today. X9. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Vatsa Prarada Bhadram Te
Vatsarajada Bhadram Te
Yahi Sutalalayam
Ayahi Sutalalayam
Modamana Swapotrena
Modamana Svapautrena
Jnatinam Sukhamavaha.
Jnatinam Sukhamavaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear son Prahlad, all good fortune unto you. For the time being, please go to the place known as Sutala and there enjoy happiness with your grandson and your other relatives and friends. So yes, the Lord even saying please.
Asking Prahlad Maharaj also to go there.
Because he's already liberated, he's a great devotee of the Lord. The
But
Lord
he advised, don't go to your grandson, you'll be too attached. So
this is different now. Because his grandson is also pure devotee.
For the time being, is it?
Yeah, for the time being, because they are going to go back to Vaikuntha. So he says, for now, just stay there.
Support.
So I met one Mataji in the temple. She was saying, "Oh," I said, "You look worried. Oh, I have to get my granddaughter married. You got your daughter married. Now granddaughter is their business. Why are you worried? You should chant Hare Krishna." Like people are like granddaughter married, and then great granddaughter have to put diapers on.
Yeah, that's what they want to do.
They want everybody to be grand.
So I was a little harsh with them. I said, "You should not be thinking of them anymore. Now you do what you need to do."
Yeah, you should tell the truth, and then in a friendly way, you tell the truth.
Friendly.
Yeah. So you are a fool, that you want to do this, and you're dying soon, right? You're already a granddaughter. You have how much long you're going to live? Yeah, it's silly, like you said. Now, how many diapers do you want the kid changing to understand the goal of life? Right?
It's a good punchline actually. How many diapers do you want? Your daughter, your granddaughter, great granddaughter.
That's just foolishness.
So once I was giving a class there in the temple, and then one person went to Damodar Hari, one of our devotee, and he said, "Why is the flow so harsh in his talk?" I didn't feel like I was harsh. I was just reading the purport.
You should tell him, if you know my guru, you know how kind I am. Text 10. Nityam drastasi mam tatra
Nityam drastasi mam tatra
gadapanim avastitam
Gadapanim avasthitam
maddarshana mahalada
Maddarshana Mahalada
dvasta karma nibandana.
Vashkarma Nibandhana.
Supreme Personality of Godhead assured Prahlad Maharaj, you shall be able to see me there in my usual feature with conch shell, disc, club, and lotus in my hand. Because of your transcendental bliss, due to always personally seeing me, you will have no further bondage to fruitive activities. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Karma Bandha. Again, the Lord is telling Prahlad, even though he's already a pure devotee, the bondage of fruitive activities entails the repetition of birth and death. We should be very careful how much we want to get trapped in these karmic activities. One performs fruitive activities in such a way that he creates another body for his next life. Right? In chapter 8, right, Bhagavad Gita, karma is activities that create your next body. Yeah, that's what it is. As long as one is attached to fruitive activities, he must accept another material body. So ask yourself, do you want to come back? You want to go through everything you just went through? Version 2, 2.1. This repeated acceptance of material bodies is called samsara bandhana. Trapped, bandhana, you are really trapped in this cycle of birth and death. To stop this, a devotee is advised to see the Supreme Lord constantly. So another reason why you should go to the temple on a daily basis. Either you go in the morning or in the evening, you go and see them, thank them, like that. and you can stop the repeated cycle of birth and death. The Kanistha Adhikari or neophyte devotee is therefore advised to visit the temple every day and see the form of the Lord regularly. I guess you don't need to. Most of you are not Kanistha. You all are Uttama Adhikaris.
Stopper knows who we are. Directly not for us.
But we should do that. Huh? Even if you are Uttama Adhikari, you should visit the temple. That way you set good examples to other newcomers. It is a fact. When devotees, sometimes when the sannyasis or gurus don't go to the Mangalarati and so on, then slowly you find other devotees also don't come. And really, it's true. And they don't come for classes. Others also don't. Well, I can listen to Prabhupada. I can listen to that, but they won't really listen so much. So they develop bad habits in devotional life, and then they ruin their opportunities to free themselves from this bondage. Yeah. So therefore, you have to set an example. Even if you feel, oh, my guru is not here, but you have to set example. They have other activities you do not know. They may be 10 times more busy than you are. So, and then you think, oh, he is not going, I also don't. But it's actually being lazy, that's all. Okay, text 11 and 12. Sri Shuka Vacha.
Sri Shuka Vacha.
Nyam Bhagavato Rajan.
Anyam Bhagavato Rajan.
Prarado Balina Saha.
Prakrado Parinasaha.
Padam Iti Amala Prapno.
Bhagavamiti Amara Prajam.
Murni Adaya Kritanjali.
Murni Adhaya Kritanjali.
Parikramyadi Purusham.
Parikramyadi Purusham.
Sarvasuras Chamupatihi.
Sarvasurachamupatihi.
Pranatastad Anujñataha.
Pranatastad
Avivesha Mahabilam.
Pravivesha Mahavilam.
Srila Sukadeva Goswami is said, accompanied by Bali Maharaj, my dear King Parikshit, Prahlad Maharaj, the master of all the chiefs of the demons, took the Supreme Lord's order on his head with folded hands. After saying yes to the Lord, circumambulating him and offering him respectful obeisances, he entered the lower planetary system known as Sutala. So right in front of everybody, they are going to Sutala. Not like I was mentioning earlier. It's not like they took a plane and then you see them go and wave goodbye. Like, no. It's like the doorway opens and they can just walk across. Just amazing. Text 13. Athaho Shana Samrajan.
Ataho Shoshanam Rajan.
Hare Narayano Tike.
Hare Narayano Tike.
Asinam Ritvijam Madhye.
Asinam Ritvijamadhe.
Sadasi Brahmavadinam.
Sadasi Brahmavadinam.
Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, thereafter addressed Sukracharya, was sitting nearby in the midst of the assembly with the priests, Brahma, Hota, Udgata, and Advaryu. O Maharaj Parikshit, these priests were all Brahmavadis, followers of the Vedic principles for performing sacrifices. So they are Brahmavadis and also they are into Karmaganda.
So what activities did Sukracharya do to take direct instruction from the Lord?
Yeah, let's see. Let's follow. Text 14. Brahman Santanu Shishyasya.
Brahman Santanu Shishyasya.
Karma Chidram Vitanvataha.
Karma Chitram Vitanvataha.
Tat Karmasu Vahyam.
Yat Karmasu Vakshamyam.
Brahmadristam Samam Bhave.
Brahmadrisham Samam Bhave.
Rest of the Brahmana, Sukracharya, please describe the fault or discrepancy in your disciple Bali Maharaj, who engaged in performing sacrifices. This fault will be nullified when judged in the presence of qualified Brahmanas. So the Lord wants to ask Sukracharya, what was his fault that you cursed him? So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, it's a very nice purport. When Bali Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj had departed for the planet Sutala, Lord Vishnu asked Sukracharya what the fault was in Bali Maharaj, for which Sukracharya had cursed him. It might be argued that since Bali Maharaj had now left the scene, how could his faults be judged? In reply to this, Lord Vishnu informed Sukracharya that there was no need for Bali Maharaj's presence, for his faults and discrepancies could be nullified if judged before the Brahmanas. That means qualified Brahmanas are there and they can say this is right or wrong. Prabhupada continues saying, as will be seen in the next verse, Bali Maharaj had no faults. Sukracharya had unnecessarily cursed him. Nonetheless, this was better for Bali Maharaj. Being cursed by Sukracharya, Bali Maharaj was deprived of all his possessions, with the result that the Supreme Personality of Godhead favored him for his strong faith in devotional service. Of course, a devotee is not required to engage in fruitive activities. As stated in the Shastra, Sarva Arhanam Achyuteja. By worshipping Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one satisfies everyone. Because Bali Maharaj had satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there was no discrepancies in his performance of sacrifices. And so Sukracharya also will be satisfied. Now, why is he getting such a blessing from the Lord? Because his disciple is glorious. Yeah. Text 15. Sri Shukha Vacha
Sri Shukra
Utastat Karma Vaisamyam
Utastat karma vaishamyam
Yasya Karmeshwaro Bhavan
Yasya karmeshwaro bhava
Yagnesho Yagna Purushaha
Yagnesho yajna purushaha
Sarva Bhavena Pujitaha.
sarvabhavena pujitaha.
Sukracharya said, my Lord, you are the enjoyer, lawgiver in all performances of sacrifice, and you are the Yagna Purusha, the person to whom all sacrifices are offered. If one has fully satisfied you, where is the chance of discrepancies or faults in his performances of sacrifice? So now he's agreeing
There is
to the
nothing
Lord.
wrong.
There's nothing wrong. But basically he's saying that. And so Prabhupada quotes two verses, actually three, one from Bhagavad Gita and then from Vishnu Purana and Srimad Bhagavatam, to say that everything is the Lord and he is the supreme proprietor and enjoyer. So he has to be satisfied first. And therefore, he quotes this from Bhagavatam, Ataha Pumbi Dvijastra, Varnashram Vibhakasha, Swanisthitasya Dharmasya, Samsiddhir Haritosha. The whole goal is to please Vishnu. So he agrees with that. So Prabhupada says everything is meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, since Bali Maharaj had satisfied the Lord, he had no faults. And Sukracharya admitted that cursing him was not good. At least he accepted that. Text 16. Mantratas tantratas chidram
Mantravastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastastasta सः
सर्वं करोति निश्चिद्रं
सर्वं करोति निश्चित्रम्
अनुसंकीर्तनं तव.
अनुसङ्कीर्तनं तव.
There may be discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras and observing the regulative principles, and moreover, there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, person, and paraphernalia. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. Now you understand where Srila Prabhupada says you can chant the holy name anytime and any place. Even Mahaprabhu says that. But Prabhupada also says that. So he says whatever yagya you do, you must still chant the holy name for it to be complete. Otherwise it's not complete. So particularly for this age we need to chant
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna mantra as in according to the Puranas. Okay, so we need to understand. And then again from the 11th canto, Yagnai Sankirtan Pare Yajantihi Sumedasa. So the Lord wants us to perform this. For this age is for Sankirtan mainly. So this has been formulated for us by the Supreme Lord, particularly Mahaprabhu, and then through the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are able to do it. So in the middle of the paragraph, Srila Prabhupada writes, although Sukracharya was a strict Brahmana, addicted to ritualistic activities, he also admitted Nischidram Anusankirtanam Tava. So that is very important. Meaning, the chanting of your name is perfect. My Lord, constant chanting of the holy name of your Lordship makes everything perfect. And then Prabhupada says, in Kali Yuga, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies cannot be performed as perfectly as before. And nobody wants to listen, right? They still continue. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has recommended that although one should take care to follow all the principles in every kind of spiritual activity, especially in worship of the deity, there is still a chance of discrepancies, and one should compensate for this by chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Mukundakta Prabhu in one of his classes.
Great. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we therefore give special stress to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in all activities. So Prabhupada is emphasizing this. We should always be chanting in whatever we do. Whatever activities we do, even when we go out to preach, at least there should be some chanting first. Yes.
Yeah, he was saying that whatever deity worship you are doing is for previous yuga.
Yeah.
Technically, you don't even need to do that. Just do this.
We chant, yeah. Yeah, so because we are not
Pure.
enough or perfect also, So you find that every temple you go, the archana is so different every temple. Everyone has something different. The priest will say something else, and you're wondering, where's the standard? And when you ask the deity worship ministry, they'll say according to the situation, each temple can vary slightly. Yeah.
I went to Chicago temple. Doors were closed and Aarti was going on. The pujari thought that it's not necessary that devotees come in. It's just for between him and the deity. And then after the puja, he took the Radharani's feet and he put it on himself there on the altar. So it is just between you and me, Krishna.
Like I said, certain things we can't comment. Text 17. Tatapi vadato bhuman karishyami anusasanam nitachaya param pumsam yattavajnanupalanam. Lord Vishnu, I must nonetheless act in obedience to your order, because obeying your order is most auspicious and is the first duty of everyone. So he admits that also. Text 18. Shri Shukra Uvacha Pratinandya Hare Agyam Bhushana Bhagavaniti Yajnachitram Samadatta Valer Vipra Rishibhi Saha. Sukadeva Goswami continued. In this way, the most powerful Sukracharya accepted the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full respect. Along with the best Brahmanas, he began to compensate for the discrepancies in the sacrifices performed by Bali Maharaj. So whatever those mistakes that Bali Maharaj did in the yagya, so he's fixing it. So it seems that you could do that. If the person who's doing the yagya is not correct, the other priest can come and fix it. Text 19. Evam baler mahim rajan Vikshitva vamano hari Radau bratre mahendraya Vidivam yat parair hiritam. O King Parikshit, thus having taken all the land of Bali Maharaj by begging the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vamanadeva delivered to his brother Indra all the land taken away by Indra's enemy. Text 20 to 21. Prajapati Pati Brahma Devarishi Pitri Bhumi Pari Daksha Brigubangiro Mukyai Kumarena Bhavena Cha Pashyadite Prityaya Sarvabhuta Bhavaya Cha Lokanam Lokapalanam Karovamanam Patim Brahma, the master of King Daksha and all other Prajapatis, accompanied by all the demigods, the great saintly persons, the inhabitants of Pitri Loka, the Manus, the Munis, and such leaders as Daksha, Brigu, and Angira, as well as Kartikeya and Lord Shiva, accepted Lord Vamanadev as the protector of everyone. He did this for the pleasure of Kashyapa Muni and his wife Aditi and for the welfare of all the inhabitants of the universe, including their various leaders. So the reason for the Lord's adventing is to please Kashyapa and his wife, as well as to fix the situation where the demons were ruling the
This
universe.
Daksha is the same Daksha that Shiva cuts the head off.
Yeah.
So he also got direct perception of the Lord.
Yeah.
We read that, no?
Brigu, Angira, Kartikeya.
They all
Lord appeared also.
Yeah, when he did the
He did
prayers.
Prayers, yeah.
Yeah, the Lord.
But normally we say that Brahma has to go to Kshirosagar and invocate the Lord. Tene Brahma Hridaya.
Yeah, but
Normally-
then there are exceptions to the rule.
Hmm.
Yeah. For some personalities, where the Lord feels just like Gajendra, he prayed and the Lord appeared also. Right? So it depends on your devotion and how you invoke the Lord.
And Lord is Swarat. No?
Yeah,
Some
so
new
he's
devotee
independent.
gets so much mercy and the 15-year-old devotee doesn't get it.
Yeah, but you see, you are saying in terms of this period of time. That devotee may have done from previous lives so much service to the Lord. In this life, he's not doing much. And suddenly he goes back to Godhead and he gets disturbed. But that was the only thing he needed to do. So we should be very careful who is advanced, who is not. We cannot just judge based on age-wise. It's the heart-wise. Text 22-23. Vedanam sarva devanam
Vedanam sarva devanam
dharmasya yashashashriya
dharmasya yashashasriya
mangalanam vratanam cha
mangalanam vratanam cha
kalpam swarga pavargayo
kalpam sarvapavarayo
Upendram kalpayam chakre
Upendram kalpayam chakre
Patim sarva vibhutaye
Patim sarva vibhutaye
Yada sarvani bhutani
Tata sarvani bhutani
Vrisham mudire nipa.
Vrishamudire nipra.
King Parikshit, Indra was considered the king of all the universe, but the demigods headed by Lord Brahma wanted Upendra, Lord Vamanadev, as the protector of the Vedas, the principles of religion, fame, opulence, auspiciousness, vows, elevation to the higher planetary system, and liberation. Thus they accepted Upendra, Lord Vamanadev, as the supreme master of everything. This decision made all living entities extremely happy. Text 24. Tatastu Indra Puraskritya Devayanena Vamanam
Devayanena Vamanam
Lokapale Divam Ninye
Lokapale divam ninye
Brahmana Chanumoditaha.
Brahmana chanumoditaha.
Thereafter, along with all the leaders of the heavenly planets, Indra, the king of heaven, placed Lord Vamanadev before him and, with the approval of Lord Brahma, brought him to the heavenly planet in a celestial airplane. Text 25. Prapyatri Bhuvanam Chandra
Prapyatri Bhuvanam Chandra
Upendra Bhuja Palitaha
Upendra Bhujapalitaha
Shriya Paramaya Justo
Shriya Justo
Mude Gata Sadvasaha.
Mumudeyata sadvasaha.
Translation. Indra, king of heaven, being protected by the arms of Vamanadeva, the supreme personality of Godhead, thus regained his rule of the three worlds and was reinstated in his own position, supremely opulent, fearless, and fully satisfied. Right?
That's why Indra takes him to the heavenly planets, so that he can get reinstated by the Lord.
And by the Lord, yeah. Well, under the Brahma wanted that. Yeah, they wanted everyone to acknowledge that the Lord is in charge of everything overall. And then Then Vamana, because he is acting like a Brahmana also, he is installing Indra as the king. You can think like that. Supremely opulent, fearless, and fully satisfied. I was wondering where they were going on airplane for, because they were already there in the Indra's planet, right?
They came down to Sutala, right? For
No, they
No, Prahlad Maharaj takes Bali and
Prahlad
goes to
Maharaj.
Sutala. Sutala still in the heavenly.
they were there.
Yeah.
Next city.
Maybe in neighboring town, right? From Samamish to Redmond.
Maybe from Yagya place to the. So no, we can say they were doing Yagya outside the palace. So maybe they're going. We can speculate like that. Text 26-27. Brahma Sarva Kumarascha
Brahmasarva Kumarasya
Brigvadya Munayo Nipa
Trivaya Munayo Nripa
Pitara Sarva Bhutani
Pitara Sarvabhutani
Siddha Vaimanikaschaye
Siddha Vaimanikashaye
Mahad Karma Tad Vishnu
Sumahat Karma Vishnu
Ayanta Paramadbhutam
Gayanta Paramadbhutam
Dishniyani Swani Te Jagmu
Vishyani Swani Devjagmu
Aditim Cha Shasham Shire
Aditim Cha Sasamsire
Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Kartikeya, the great sage Bhrigu are the saintly persons, the inhabitants of Pitriloka and all other living entities present, including the inhabitants of Siddhaloka and living entities who travel in outer space by airplane, all glorify the uncommon activities of Lord Vamanadeva. O King, while chanting about and glorifying the Lord, they return to their respective heavenly planets. They also praise the position of Aditi. Remember, they are all, many of them are like Sakama devotees. So just like many of you will say, oh, that devotee is so fortunate, you go home and start doing your own nonsense. So think about it. Text 28. Sarvam itam maya kyatam
Sarvamitam maya kyatam
bhavata kulanandana
Bhavata Kulanandana
gurukramasya charitam
Gurukramasya Charitam
srotrinam agamochanam.
Srotrinam
O Maharaj Parikshit, pleasure of your dynasty, I have now described to you everything about the wonderful activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vamanadeva. Those who hear about this are certainly freed from all the results of sinful activity. So, all of you must be free from the results of sinful activities. So, don't go and make more sin. Stay away from that. Text 29. Param Mahimna Uruvikramato Grinano
Param Mahimna Uruvikramato Grinano
Ya Parthivani Vimame Sarajam Simadhyaha
Yagavarivani Vimame Sarajam Simadhya
Kim Jayamana Utajata Upaiti Madhya
Kinjayamana Utajata Upaiti Madhya
Nityahamanta Drikrishi Purushasya Yasya
Nityahamanta Drigrishi Purushasya Yasya
One who is subject to death cannot measure the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Trivikrama, Lord Vishnu, any more than he can count the number of atoms on the entire planet Earth, which means impossible. No one, whether born already or destined to take birth, is able to do this. This has been sung by the great sage Vasishta. That is amazing, no? Even Sesha, Ananta Sesha, he's trying to sing the glories of the Lord and still he cannot finish. So what to speak of us, right? So what did Vasishta Muni chant? He says, Nate Vishnu Jayamano Na Jato Mahimna Param Anantam Apa. No one can estimate the extent of the uncommonly glorious activities of Lord Vishnu. Prabhupada says it's the pastimes of the Lord and his incarnations are like the waves coming in the beach. So can you count the number of waves? You can't. It keeps coming on and on forever, actually. So if someone trying to understand that is like a scientist who are all going to die, but they're trying to understand how this creation was. They try to speculate what kind of creation it is. Prabhupada says this is a foolish attempt because this powerful sage who can understand so many things and who can see the glories of the Lord, he said no one can do it. So that's it. Not in the past, not in the future, not ever. So we should be what? Prabhupada says one must simply be satisfied with seeing the glorious activities of Supreme Lord's creation. It's just fascinating. Huh? You just look at it and say, it's amazing, right? You look at your, what mountain? Rushmore? What is it?
Mount Rainier.
Rainier. Rainier. So you look at it, it's just amazing, right? Look at the size of it. How is that possible? Of course, they'll say tectonic plate movement, and then all the thing comes out, the plate moves out. So you have mountains and stuff like that. Now, whatever, a simple mosquito, Prabhupada says that also. Can they create one? He can do everything. He can cause problems for you also. That's one tiny mosquito. Scientists cannot create. They can mix around and mess around with the DNA and create problems for the world. Right? They can make a new disease and then spread it around the world, biological warfare, or they can create some nuclear fusion and then throw bombs. They're good at that. But to create life, nobody can do it. And to create this amazing creation, what did Krishna says? To ekam jana
Sthitam Jagat.
sthitam jagat. It's a spark, my potency. Just a spark of my potency. I pervade this entire creation, this universe. So many living entities living in there. Look at the celestial bodies. So it's just inconceivable. So we shouldn't think we can understand Krishna with our intelligence. It's not possible. The only way you can understand is through affection. Bhaktyamam. Only through love you can understand Krishna. And then also he reveals according to our ability to understand him. So there's another point Srila Prabhupada says that this creation is 1/4 of his energy. The other 3/4 of creation constitute the spiritual world. So this is only 1/4. Yeah, get some water, Prabhu. So even within this universe, they don't know what is happening. Within this planet, they don't know. They don't even know what's in the ocean. Every now and then they send some probe underwater. There's a new species. Right? What is that verse from Purana? How many species are there in the ocean?
Jalaja Navalakshana.
So Navalakshana.
900,000.
900,000 species. They hardly know that. Right? It's not possible. You go away and 1 mile only is dark area. What to see?
Every once in a while, some new species comes up. They say, "Oh, we found it."
Yeah, we found it. You didn't find it. It was already there. You just saw it now. Right? Or when there's a big hurricane or storm, the water is churned and some of these creatures die, they float, and they say, "Oh, what is this? Monsters of the deep." So they try to defy the fact that there is a supreme person. Somehow or other they want to defy that. And they want to do that because they really think they want to take the position of God. That is the reason why they cannot accept. They'll act, even if they act magnanimously, right, charitable and so on, the real thing is they want to feel like God.
Charity is also part of being
Yeah,
God.
I want
am
to-
giving.
I want to be the one controlling. It's all that. So it's very difficult. So Prabhupada says such crazy men unnecessarily waste time, energy, and money in attempting to defy the glorious activities of Urukrama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's known as Trivikrama. Vikram means
Krama is step, Vikrama is great step.
Vikrama.
Vikrama means great step. Or Urukrama, step. Krama is step, Vikrama is great step.
Krama, Vikram. Vikram means what? Vikrama. It could be step, it could be valorous.
Valorous.
Yeah. So, but in this case, Trivikrama can only mean
3 steps.
3 steps. So the Lord is defined by his activities.
3 great steps.
Generally, his name is based on 3 great steps. Yeah. It's nice. Text 30. Ya idam deva devasya.
Ya idam deva devasya.
Lower the tempo.
Because
Hare
produce heat.
Ya idam deva devasya.
Ya idam deva devasya.
Hare radbhuta karmanaha.
Hare-radbhuta karmanaha.
Avataranucharitam.
Avataranucharitam.
Shinvanyati param gatim.
Shrimanyati param gatim.
If one hears about the uncommon activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations, he is certainly elevated to the higher planetary system or even brought back home, back to Godhead. So another very nice thing you can read in this translation is how often you should ask yourself, you are hearing about the Lord's pastimes. How often?
Every day we have to hear.
Something. That's why I always say you'll read Krishna book before you go to bed, because then you remember the pastime. That is Krishna pastime, but it's okay. This statement by Shukadeva Goswami is uncommon activities, amazing activities, right? Like, how can a small boy lift a mountain with his little pinky? Right? So the more you appreciate that pastime, the more you understand who God is. Because now we don't really understand the position of God. We kind of theoretically say, yes, there is a supreme person. But we don't really, within our heart, accept that, right? Embrace that fact that he is my Lord. We haven't come to that conclusion yet. So how often are we hearing these uncommon activities? It should be at our fingertips, the pastimes, right? We should know all the pastimes. So we should endeavor to at least know the pastime. How do you know that? Just read the books, Prabhupada's books. So you know all the pastimes. So now up to 8th canto, you should know all the different pastimes, right? If I say write 10 different pastimes of Krishna or in his incarnation and 5 different pastimes of his devotees, then you should think about it, all the pastimes. See how many you know. Right? So then if you hear about it, 2 things can happen. He's certainly elevated to the higher planetary system. Right? Or even brought back home, back to Godhead. So 2 things can happen. So that's one of the reasons why Prabhupada once said, and Hanuman Prasad Swami said, that most of his disciples will go to the heavenly planets.
Oh, he said that.
Prabhupada just mentioned, I don't know why.
I saw heard one of the places.
You heard also? Yeah. Okay.
He says that most of my disciples will actually go to heaven.
Yeah. But you will be performing devotional service hopefully there. Yeah.
If you don't
So
get
higher planet doesn't mean only circle of 8 can be.
It can be even Tapaloka,
Tapaloka.
Jana Mahar.
Jana Loka, Tapaloka, Mahaloka. Hopefully you want to go only straight to Vaikuntha. Higher planetary system. Yeah. So that's more reason why you should know about Krishna. Do your best, Text 31. Kriyamane karmanidam
Kriyamane karmanidam
Deve pitriyeta manuse Yatra yatra nukhityeta Tesham sukritam vidu. Whenever activities of Vamanadeva are described in the course of a ritualistic ceremony, whether the ceremony be performed to please the demigods, to please one's forefathers in Pitri Loka, or to celebrate a social event like a marriage, that ceremony should be understood to be extremely auspicious. So, you should try to speak the pastime of Lord Vamanadev in as many situations as you can. So, Prabhupada says there are three kinds of ceremonies, specifically ceremonies to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the demigods. Those performed for social celebrations like marriages and birthdays, and those meant to please the forefathers like the Shraddha ceremony. So, there are three. In all these ceremonies, large amounts of money are spent for various activities, but here it is suggested that if along with this there is recitation or recitation of the wonderful activities of Vamana Deva, certainly the ceremony will be carried out successfully and will be free of all discrepancies. So yeah, so many of you will do many programs over the years. So try to see if you can get someone to come and talk about Vamana Deva.
Yeah. So this afternoon, somebody invited me.
So you will speak Vamana
for
Deva.
a Shraddha ceremony.
Mhm.
Of course, Shraddha will be done by the Karmakandiya Pujaris. He wanted me to come and speak about Bhagavad Gita, so maybe I can speak about this.
Yeah, you speak.
Vamana story.
Well, you heard this, you have to do it now. Right? Of course, Sukadeva Goswami doesn't say you have to. He says whenever the activities are described in such situation, it becomes auspicious. Right? So if you have your birthday for your son, then get your Prabhu to speak on Vamana Day or something. Like
Yeah, very difficult to do these birthdays. It's become so noisy. All the guests coming in.
No,
and
you can
difficult to sit
tell
down
the
and do
parents,
everything.
I will come and do it, but make sure the kids are sitting and listening about Vamana Day. I want them to listen. I'm going to ask them questions.
They'll not come.
It's like story.
Yeah,
They still
I know. That's why I'm telling him. He doesn't know something. I remember one time the kids were, so many kids saw, then I told them the story of Mrigari the hunter. So they all were listening. Then I would ask them, okay, what did he do? So they were, yeah. So they participate. It's a natural tendency. So yeah, so you can do that. Yes.
And I had a cousin sister's wedding in Delhi 3 years back, so
Uh-huh.
I was trying to do something spiritual. Then I asked one of my godbrothers from Delhi to do books, so he did few books in the ceremony. It became auspicious, I think.
Yeah.
They do Prabhupada books, some of
Yeah.
the Burmese they got books.
Yeah. So chanting must be there.
They didn't chant, but just whispered books.
Chanting must always be there, regardless of chant first, then you can do your talking. Because what value is our talking actually?
No, they just did books in the corner. And it was a hall outside.
Yeah.
Marriage
Still try to do. I'm not saying about then it's past already. I'm saying try to incorporate these things. Chanting must always be there.
Yeah, once I went to a marriage in Hyderabad, I made everybody sit in a circle and chant one round. And after a long time, the people asked me, "Are you still doing that?" I said, "Of course, I'm still doing that." So people remember that.
That's good. That's in the Bhaktivedanta purports. Of the 8th canto, 23rd chapter, the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Demigods Regain the Heavenly Planets. Yes,
So
Prabhu.
my wedding happened in the Chopari temple, and
Ah.
prasadam was from Govinda. So people still remember, oh, that prasadam was so nice. 13 years.
You got married in Chowpatty?
Yeah,
Madhav Chandra Prabhu ने arrange किया था to Gaurang Chandra.
nice.
तो नीचे हॉल में हुआ था, गोविंदा खुल गया था तब मैं रेस्टोरेंट से आया था.
Let's not live in that past.
No, I'm saying you still remember food because you eat in so many weddings you forget. But
Yeah.
prasadam.
Yeah, that's good.
Normally, marriage is remembered by quality of prasadam.
Indian marriages.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, of course, people must live there feeling satisfied. No?
That's what I'm trying to
Shouldn't
say.
curse.
Otherwise, they will curse.
All life. All life. Every time you'll remember.
But how to please everybody, right? Some people want like this, that. The best wedding would be you have a buffet where they have all kinds of things, and then they can pick what they choose. But then, anyway, who cares? All right, now we're going to the last chapter of 8th Canto, Matsya, the Lord's fish incarnation. Okay, so now we're done with the Bali Maharaj pastime. So we're going to another personality. This is how Matsya came into being. And particularly here is going to be a devastation. It is when Brahma, I think, is sleeping. And then the whole place is going to be
This
devastated.
is Manvantara.
Manvantara or
End of
After the 14
Manvantara.
months, this is after 14
No,
months.
between two.
No, between the two Manvantaras. But then generally it doesn't happen so much. But in this particular incident, devastation happens. A big devastation.
Sandhya.
Text 1. Sri Rajo Vacha
Rajo Vacha
Bhagavan Shotum Ichchami
Bhagavan Shotum Ichchami
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Hare Karmana
Avatara Katham Adyam
Vataharamadhyam
Maya Matsya Vidambanam.
Mayamasya Vidambanam
Maharaj Parikshit said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is eternally situated in its transcendental position. Yet he descends to this material world and manifests himself in various incarnations. His first incarnation was that of a great fish. O most powerful Shukadev Goswami, I wish to hear from you the pastimes of that fish incarnation. Prabhupada says this is one of the 10 original incarnations of the Lord. So, Leela,
The original.
text 2, 3. Yadartam vadada rupam Matsyam loka juguksitam Sama prakriti durmarsham Karmagrasta iveswaraha Ikano Bhagavan sarvam Tavad vaktum arhasi Uttama charitam Sarvaloka sukhavaham. What was the purpose for which the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepted the abominable form of a fish? Exactly as an ordinary living being accepts different forms under the laws of karma. The form of a fish is certainly condemned and full of terrible pain. O my Lord, what was the purpose of this incarnation? Kindly explain this to us, for hearing about the pastimes of the Lord is auspicious for everyone. So, having a fish body is a painful existence because you are put into a water and there's pressure all over. So, you're forced in this terrible situation, and then you go open, take water to breathe. So, it is a terrible situation.
Also, they say that the food stuff that they eat is even more abominable than hogs, because all the dead bodies, even the caricatures through the rivers, they come into the ocean, and it's all decayed.
Bad things,
It's extremely. So that's why, from a consciousness perspective, eating fish is worse of consuming any kind of fish.
Yes, it's lower.
Yeah, Manu Samhita.
It's a lower species, so you shouldn't be eating them.
So what is the hierarchy in Manusamhita? Fish, meat.
Meat
Things
is
come
From a consciousness perspective.
In fact,
Meat is
evolution
better
of consciousness is from water, then land.
Bengalis eat meat, fish.
Oh, they only eat jal phala. Jal phala.
It's not fish.
No, not fish, jal.
Water fruit.
Food of the water.
That's what they call it.
Fish is
They
jal
justify life.
Anyway, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord appears in each incarnation to save the world from irreligious principles and especially to protect his devotees. Paritranaya sadhana. Vamanadev, for example, appeared to save the devotee Bali Maharaj. Similarly, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepted the abominable form of fish, he must have done so to favor some devotee. Parikshit Maharaj was eager to know about the devotee for whom the Supreme Lord accepted this form. Text 4. Shri Sutta Vacha
Shri Sutta Vacha
Iti Yukta Vishnu Ratena
Vishnu Vishnuratena
Bhagavan Badarayini
Bhagavan Vadarayani
Vacha Charitam Vishnu
Vacha Charitam Vishnu
Matsya Rupena Yatkrutam.
Vatsarupena Yakritam.
Sutta Goswami said, when Parikshit Maharaj thus inquired from Shukadev Goswami, that most powerful saintly person began describing the pastimes of the Lord's incarnation as a fish. Text 5. Sri Shuka Vacha
Shri Sutta Vacha
Go Viprasura Sadhuna
Goviprasura
Chandasam Apicheshvaraha
Chandasam
Rakshams Icham Stanu Datte
Rakshamichansarudate
Dharmasyartasya Chaivahi.
Dharmasvartasya Chaivahi.
Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, for the sake of protecting the cows, Brahmanas, demigods, devotees, the Vedic literature, religious principles, and principles to fulfill the purpose of life, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts the forms of incarnations. Okay? So basically, these are the main reasons why he comes. Including, of course, it's there, devotees. So these are the main reasons why he says in chapter 4, Bhagavad Gita, why he appears. Religious principles and devotees, mainly. And cows and brahmanas are part of religious principles. And devotees are part of brahmanas. And demigods are part of religious principles. They have to establish dharma, like that. Okay. Then you have the literature, and then how to live your life, karma kanda section. So everything must be protected, otherwise people will go to the level of animals. That's the reason. We want them to rise up through the process, varnashram, going back to Godhead. So Prabhupada quotes the same verse, Go Brahmanaya Hitaya Cha. He's always eager to benefit the cows and brahmanas. When Lord Krishna appeared, he purposefully became a cowherd boy. Purposely, yeah. So if you think, why? Why the cowherd boy? So he could give protection to the cows, calves, and also he could do things that you can't do if you are a prince. Right? You can play, you can run in the fields, you can roll on the mud, you can pull the cow's tail, right? You can do mud fights, wrestling. You can eat with all your friends. As a prince, you can't do all those things. So that was the best position. No other form is Krishna. That is Krishna.
Like you said, you cannot even first consume the food. Your servant has to
to
test
taste
it
it.
poisoned or not, or there are a
That's
lot
right.
of things.
That's right. Our king's food.
They get the right
Yeah.
first before the king.
That's how they. I mean, I do not know if they did it in the Vedic times, but they definitely did it during the last few hundred years. In Europe also, the kings would have, the cooks will cook and bring, and the king will say, "You eat first." And then after he survives, he'll
Survives,
eat. So yeah, right.
So sick.
So this is the best form, as a cowherd boy, he could do everything, and there's no much etiquette or rules. Generally, not as much as a princely person, have to, everything must be in order like that. Here he can do some nonsense, he can run around, go to a home, break all the pots, and then run away. So in one sense, you can see also Mahaprabhu when he was a little boy, he was doing almost similar thing because he was in a village also. So, yeah. Okay.
At the same time, these activities are internally going in the spiritual world.
Yes, yes. So that's why that is the best form. I mean, there's unlimited number of associates, you cannot count them. Similarly, he showed respect to Sudama Vipra. He became a cowherd, and he also became a best friend of Sudama Vipra, who's a real Brahmana. From the Lord's personal activities, human society should learn how to give protection specifically to brahmanas and cows. It's a challenge nowadays, but we can do that. No? Actually, one milk company just shut down, Borden. Not really shut down, but they stopped production for a while. Because
Many milk companies. Probably,
small,
because,
small.
Yeah, they are not able to sustain.
Actually, I'm not sure what they mean by they declare bankruptcy. It doesn't mean that they cannot sustain. It's all to do with the
The
way.
cost reduction,
Yeah.
net
They're not
flourishing.
flourishing.
Maybe many people are now not taking milk.
But that I don't think it's a big impact. It's milk vegans are how many in the whole world. Even US maybe what
5%.
close to 5 to 10%.
But
That's
it's
about-
increasing, no? Percentage is increasing.
Rapidly increasing.
maybe, but still,
In Europe also.
people's lifestyle and culture is changing. So they found through education, the media is all saying milk is not good. So that's why they are not taking it. Right? So cheese and all, most people don't want cheese anymore. They just want to eat, itty bitty like that, and then they think they want to keep their body, healthy, they say. But it's not true. Unless you have good natural fat, your body will not be able to sustain immune system and all will collapse.
There was an article recently was talking about that in 40s and 50s they did did historical data, like the people here were more healthier than in current times, and what they found is that during those times all the cooking even in America they used to do butter.
Yes,
Pure
that's right.
butter. Now they don't do it.
Now they use
But in
all
India also, Prabhu, now a lot of people stop eating ghee.
because they think it's bad for you.
Yes.
So therefore they should get sick. And that's why all the climate is changing. Cows are not protected. So if you take care of Brahmins and the cows, then proper rights, then the protection of religious principles, fulfillment of the aim of life, and protection of Vedic knowledge can be achieved. So it's our legacy to do this thing. We're supposed to do this. He says, without protection of cows, Brahminical culture cannot be maintained. And without Brahminical culture, the aim of life cannot be fulfilled. That's why when Prabhupada came to the West, he said, I'm making Brahmanas. We need Brahmanas, and they will therefore do protection of cows. So we see that also, right? So Prabhupada also says, unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, there's no protection of the cows in Brahminical culture. Everything is in a precarious position. So we have to teach people by example, give them our literature so that they can at least get some intelligence about what we are talking, right? Like you see in Australia, so much fire, and then someone was saying that Mahavishnu Swami asked the
the same.
Prime Minister to go on Harinam or something. So that might work, but they may not want to do it because they feel, I look like a fool, Yeah, so they won't do it. So they don't have that intelligence. Text 6. Uchchavacheshu bhuteshu
Uchchavacheshu bhuteshu
charanvayuriveshvaraha
Charanvayuriveshvaraha
Nochavachatvam bhajate
Nochavachatvam bhajate
Nirgunadvadiyo gunai.
Nirgunadvadiyo gunai.
Like the air passing through different types of atmosphere, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing sometimes as a human being and sometimes as a lower animal, is always transcendental. Because he is above the material modes of nature, he is unaffected by higher and lower forms. Right? So he is beyond the material thing. His body is not like our body, right? Ajopi san, avyayatma, bhutanam, ishwarapi san, right? So here in the purport, Prabhupada says how this material energy is under the superintendent of the Supreme Lord, under his purview, under his supervision, under his vision, supervision. Yeah? And therefore, it is subservient to the Lord, not otherwise. Okay. And so, and Prabhupada gives an example in this regard is that although the wind blows through many places, the air is not affected by the qualities of these places. Although the air sometimes carries the odor of a filthy place, the air has nothing to do with such a place. So that is how this situation is. Of course, if we are not careful and we try to take on the qualities of those places, then we get degraded. Right? If we are so easily influenced, so when we go through a town where everybody is dancing, then we also dance with them. Then the next town we come, everyone is crying, then after a while we also start crying. Right? So we go one time, we get easily affected because maybe we are very empathic, So these things can happen. So that is because the living entity, because he's tatastha, is easily influenced by the material energy. If he doesn't have the proper knowledge, he is easily influenced. And then Prabhupada quotes from the 13th chapter, Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhunke Prakriti Jan Guna. Sadasad Yoni Janmati. So it's forced to take birth. You are influenced, you take that quality, you think about it, yam yam bhapi smaran bhav. So then you take birth like that. Yeah? So these qualities we have to see. Each of us can see our own qualities. You can see your own qualities. We can see our qualities. And then you ask yourself, do I want to retain these qualities or do I want to give this up like that? So you go through those things and then see how you can modify your lifestyles to give up those kind of mental blocks. Okay. Right. So if you don't understand the Lord's position and think he has become a lower animal, then you're a fool. The Lord doesn't become a lower animal. He's still transcendental. He's always transcendental. That is why we are also worshipping him as Matsya Avatar, Kurma Avatar, like that. He's not or Varaha, right? People don't like pigs so much, so but we are worshipping him in that form. So the form, but you should also understand all forms you see in this material world is actually the original form is from Krishna. Even the insects, even cockroach, everything, original form is coming from Krishna. You can't conceive because it's not possible. Yes. A fly, it's not possible, right? Worm, yeah.
Like Sarigram Sila,
Yes.
it is carved by Vajradanta.
Yes,
This is
that's
one
right.
that is Vishnu himself enter in the form of a worm and
Worm
carves the
and carves
form.
it. Yeah, so he is exactly. I was thinking of it also. The Shalagram Shilas, yeah. He comes as a stone, he comes as the worm to chip it like Vishwakarma. So it's impossible. They cannot understand how it's done. You can see the eyes sometimes. One devotee has Matsya.
Oh.
Matsya Shila. And I was like shocked because it's a fish mouth, everything.
Yeah. Even Amrendra Guru has Nrsimha, Varaha, Matsya. It's so amazing to see the entire forms in Shaligram. And then he just keeps it sometimes clipboard like upside down. So you can't see to take darshan and you have to wait until he keeps it straight.
Yeah, so I've seen it also. Yeah, it's just amazing. Some devotees have. Yeah. But we should also be careful when you want to wear Shaligram, just have one is enough. Don't have an entourage of so many.
And you should not purchase right now.
No,
It has to be
given. You can ask your Guru Maharaj permission. Then go to that Gandaki river and then you pick, and that Shila comes to you actually.
It comes in your hand.
Yeah, it jumps.
When you pick one,
Find one in it.
So you don't pick and choose.
No, you don't pick and choose. You whatever.
comes-
Keep it back.
You get it. Why not?
That is the form you should worship, and that's it. That's some devotees go. I've seen it. They go and pick, and then they say They say, oh, someone gave me now I have 2. 2 is not a good number, so I have to have 4, then 11, then
Spend days trying to find a particular form they are
Yeah.
the Shila. 3 days, I didn't find them.
But
No,
our
but
goal is
it's
not
also-
really the Shila, right? Our
No.
goal is preaching.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You have one is good enough because that's what you do, right?
But
Just
they,
like the Brahmana who went to Mahaprabhu's house, he had a Shila, he wanted to worship, and that's it, you know.
Prabhupada Maharaj once said, we are not a rules and regulation movement, we are a preaching movement.
Mm.
So getting into all this Shila and worshipping in a particular way, all the time is spent there only.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
And then, you know,
but I've heard in one of the classes where Prabhu was saying, you have 21 Shilas, or there's a certain number, or above 14, you go back to God. I mean,
But
not
it's so
that,
easy.
like
Let's all
worship.
do it now.
yeah, the Kandaki trip.
That's
Not like just keeping it when worship.
Yeah, but
You
you know,
should get 14 if you even go to Gandaki.
still, that's what I'm saying.
No,
you know,
no,
then
not
forget
Gandhi
it.
River. He did get it.
Srila
from-
Prabhupada didn't go to Gandaki River to do it, right? He
Yeah.
came to give us this movement in this form, so let's do it this way. To go back to Godhead. Why do we have to do other things? If your spiritual master tells you worship a Shaligram Shila, then go ahead and worship a Shaligram Shila. But don't make it a hobby.
stamp collection,
Yeah.
Salagram collection.
Yeah, don't do that, because unless your bhav is there and it's very strong and you really truly worship, then yes, have a lot of respect
But
to.
Ayendra Prabhu had 3,000 Shilas.
3,000.
Yeah, but not you. All of us are not.
No,
Ayendra
I'm just
Prabhu.
asking.
Yeah.
Just asking. So he was worshipping it in the
I know.
moonlight.
But they cannot worship
Yeah.
all the Shilas. They'll worship one main Shila for a few, like that. That's how you do the worship.
Because for each Shila, there should be a particular way
Yes.
you worship.
Yeah.
If you have so many, you won't even
Have
have
to satisfy your
Yeah. So there's one main Shila who takes for all the other Shilas. So that's how you worship.
The
It's
best
like
way,
even in the altar, if you don't have 3 plates or 4 plates, then the main plate, let's say you only have 1 plate, that is shared by all the, like that, right? So if you're going to do everything strictly in your home, then for each Shila you need 1 plate offering. Can you do that? Yeah. So it's not practical actually, and the best form of worship is
chanting.
chanting.
Nagar Sankirtana,
Correct.
coming right
Yeah.
for Nagar Sankirtana. Then Shilas may manifest.
Text 7. Asid atita kalpante
Asidavita kalpante
Brahmo naimitiko layaha
Brahmo naimitiko layaha.
Samudro pabluta statra
Samudro paplutastra.
Lokaburadayo nirpa.
Lokabhuganayo nirpa.
King Parikshit, at the end of the past millennium, at the end of Brahma's day, because Lord Brahma sleeps during the night, annihilation took place and the 3 worlds were covered by the water of the ocean. So that means all 3 worlds. Huh? For some reason, at the end of his day.
Previous day, yeah.
Yeah.
3 middle planetary systems.
All gone.
Bhuvarsva.
Text 8. Yeah. Kalinagata nidrasya
Kalinagata nidrasya.
Dhatu shisha yishur bali
Dhatu shisha yishur bali.
Mukhato nishvitan vedan
Mukhato nishvitan vedan.
Hayagrivantike hara.
Hayagrivantike hara.
At the end of Brahma's day, when Brahma felt sleepy and desired to lie down, the Vedas were emanating from his mouth, and the great demon named Hayagriva stole the Vedic knowledge. So it's amazing, The demon is still awake when Brahma is sleeping.
Horse shape.
Horse demon. The Hayagriva is also
The form
a form of the Lord also. So you can see the name can be, all names are also coming from
the Lord.
the Lord. So whatever name we have, it's actually the Lord's name first. Right? Except for Pinky, Rinky, Dinky, those things. They're not in the scripture.
Like in Hyderabad, one person's name is
Yeah. Nice.
So if Brahma is feeling sleepy means all souls have been unmanifest and put into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Then how did Haigriva manage to stay?
Demon, he was so powerful, he didn't go to bed.
Maybe from some other universe.
So only 3 middle planets, right?
Hmm.
The lower planets are not affected.
Yeah.
The
Oh, so
subterranean.
he came
There's
from
only
somewhere.
Bhuvar Swarga, but the subterranean
Yeah,
planets where
it's
the demons
possible.
are
He
living,
came
they are
from
still there.
Sutana.
So
But
lower
that-
are there and then the top are there.
Yeah,
top
yeah,
four.
only the
So,
middle
yeah,
three are
okay,
one.
that's a
Bhuvar
good
Swarga.
point. He probably came from the lower planetary system.
Yeah, only 3. I guess.
Escape.
In the previous ones, right?
He was camping there.
Bhuvar Swarga.
But generally, when we say 3 planetary system, the water rises from the bottom up.
Yeah, from Garbhodaka ocean, right? So
Yeah.
bottom is all everything on.
Yeah, so lower
They're
planets.
within the earth. There is no direct contact of water.
3 planetary systems. No, it's not 3 worlds.
They're
It
within
is
the
subterranean.
subterranean.
There is
Subterranean.
within the earth. There's no
Uh-huh.
direct water.
Everything.
Everything. Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha.
Everything.
The 3 middle planets.
Must be everything.
It cannot be just middle.
Huh?
It cannot be just middle.
Yeah. Cannot be just middle.
Just
This
look from
place
what.
feeling sleepy.
Whenever Shastra they talk about 3 planets, they generally refer to Bhuvar Swarga because
Yeah.
the cycle of pious activities is only within these 3 worlds.
I understand, but I think when the creation has to be created, again, Brahma has to create all of them, not
All
just
the
one
lower
or 2,
planetary systems.
including lower planetary system. Anyway, we can check it out, Text 9. Nyatpataddanavendrasya
ज्ञात्वा दानवेन्द्रस्य
Hayagривasya chastita
हयाग्रीवस्य चेष्टितं
Dadara Saparirupam
दारापरिरूपम्
Bhagavan Haririshwaraha.
भगवान् हरीश्वरः
Understanding the acts of the great demon Hayagriva, the Supreme Personality of God, Hari, who's full of all opulences, assumed the form of a fish and saved the Vedas by killing the demon. So he had a horn and he probably killed it. I don't know. No. But he killed the demon. Text 10. Tatra Raja Rishi Kaschin
तत्र राजा ऋषि कश्चिन्
Namna Satyavrato Mahan
नाम्ना सत्यव्रतो महान्
Narayana Paro Tapat
नारायण परोतपात्
Tapasa Salilashanaha.
तपसा शैलासनः
During the Chakshusha Manvantara, there was a great king named Satyavrata who was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satyavrata performed austerities by subsisting only on water. In the Prabhupada explains, the Lord assumed one fish incarnation to save the Vedas at the beginning of Swayambhuva Manvantara. That is the first Manvantara. And at the end of Chakshusha Manvantara, he is the fourth. That's right. The Lord again assumed the form of a fish, second time, just to favor the great king named Satyavrata. As there were 2 incarnations of Varaha, there were also 2 incarnations of fish. So when he came during the first time, he was what fish? White, gold, what color? Varaha? Sweta?
That's Varaha and Rudra Varaha.
I know, that's Varaha.
That's
Much
fish, I know.
No? Nobody knows?
Pictures, it's always I've seen white with a horn.
Oh, gold.
Golden.
Gold.
Gold, right?
I've seen
Gold, yeah.
That's second time.
And the second time is gold. It's
Gold.
described as gold. The first one I'm asking what color he was. So maybe it's the same. Some people say the after Matsya Avatar, the first time he stayed there until the second time to come. Others say he went back and came back. I mean, it could be, who knows, right? Text
First
11.
Varaha stayed, but this fish could have gone and come back.
Yeah, or both could have gone and come back. We do not know.
At the same coming back.
Text 11. Yo asmin mahakalpe
योऽसावस्मिन् महाकल्पे
anaya sa vivasvataha
अनया सा विवस्वतः
Shraddha Deva iti kyato
श्रद्धादेव इति ख्यातो
Manutve Harinarpitaha.
मनुत्वे हरिणार्पितः
In this, the present millennium, King Satyavrata later became the son of Vivaswan, the king of the sun planet, and was known as Shraddha Deva. By the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was given the post of Manu. Text 12. Ikada Krittamalayam
Ekada Kritamalayam
Purvato Jalatarpanam
Purvato Jalatarpanam
Tasyanjali Udakhe Khachit
Tasyanjali Udake Kachit
Chapari Ekhabhyapadyata.
Chapari Bhavyabhadyata.
One day, while King Satyavrata was performing austerities by offering water on the bank of the river Kritamala, a small fish appeared in the water in his palm.
This is Tamil Nadu, right? Kritamala.
I do not know.
Kritamala is in Tamil Nadu, right?
Nobody knows.
I think it's in Tamil.
Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh.
Really?
Somewhere in South.
Just adding something.
I thought it was somewhere in South India.
Anyway, we all can do the research.
Oh, Vaigai, yes.
Yeah, Vaigai, right? Vaigai River. It's
Vaigai
in
River.
Tamil
Where
Nadu.
is that?
Tamil
It's near Coimbatore.
Nadu.
Oh, real south. Really south. Okay. Text 13. Satyavrata Anjali Gatam
Satyavrata Anjali Gatam
Sahato Yena Bharada
Sahato Yena Bharata
Utsasarja Nadito Ye
Utsasarja Nadito Ye
Saparindra Videshwaraha.
Saparindra Videshwaraha.
Let's say that. Satyavrata, the king of Dravida Desha.
So,
That's in the south. Threw the fish into the water of the river along with the water in his palm. O King Parikshit, descendant of Bharata. Text 14.
So geography does not change from one day of Brahma to another day of Brahma.
It seems like that.
It's near Madurai, not Coimbatore, Madurai.
Madurai, oh, so
Little higher.
little high. Text 14. Tamha sati karunam
Tamahasati Karunam
Mahakarunikam nipam
Mahakarunikam Nipam
Yadovyo Nyati Gatibyo
Yadovyo Vyati Gatibhyo
Dinamam Dinavatsala
Dinamam Dinavatsala
Katam Visrijase Rajan
Katam Vishriyase Rajan
Nitam Asmin Sarijjale.
Ritamasmin Sarijjale.
With an appealing voice, the poor small fish said to King Satyavrata, who was very merciful, "My dear king, protector of the poor, why are you throwing me in the water of the river where there are other aquatics who can kill me? I'm very much afraid of them." I mean, if a fish talks to you, there must be something.
Finding Nemo.
Huh?
Finding Nemo.
where is the voice coming from?
Finding Nemo. So this Prabhupada takes from Matsya Purana. Ananta Shakti Bhagavan Matsya Rupi Janardana Kridartam Yachayam Masa Swayam Satyavratam Nipam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead possesses unlimited potency. Nonetheless, in his pastime in the form of a fish, he begged protection from King Satyavrata. That's amazing, no? The Lord himself is asking, give me protection. Text 15. Tam Atmanonugrahartam
Tamanonugrahartam
Pritya Matsya Vapurdaram
Pritya Matsya Vapurdaram
Ajanan Rakshanataya
Ajanan Rakshanataya
Shavarya Samanodade.
Savarya Samanodade.
Please himself, King Satyavrata, not knowing that the fish was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, decided with great pleasure to give the fish protection. Purport. Here is an example of giving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead even without knowledge. Such service is called Agyata Sukriti. So, you can also ask yourself, did you do Agyata Sukriti? Possibly. Very possible. Most of us, previous lives, even in this life, you go to a temple, you just, didn't want to go, then some pujari or someone said, can you hold this? And then you held it for the Lord's things, and then you did service like that, So without knowing, Agyata Sukriti.
When I first came to this temple, Jay Patak Maharaj came and he gave his bead bag and he said, hold it.
So,
That's
some
why you are
Sukriti.
here today.
So many things, right?
So as I was saying, Agyata Sukriti, commonly if it's a little service like that, it may take many, many lifetimes to actually develop into strong faith. Unless the person
Devotee comes first.
or the the Supreme Lord or the devotee blesses you, you cannot just take up the devotion practice on your own. It's not possible. So for most of us, we can accept that we could have done Akiyata Sukriti as well as getting the mercy of the devotees of Srila Prabhupada. Like that. So here, King Satyavrata wanted to show his own mercy, not knowing that the fish was Lord Vishnu. By such unknowing devotional service, one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's in the same way you can make people render service also. Like if there's an outfit to sew, you can always ask your friends who are not favorable, can you sew this for us? They will just happily sew. I would say it's for a doll or whatever, and they'll sew. And the back says for deities, and then they get some sukriti like that. Some benefit, some people won't want to eat prasadam at all. They say, oh no, you're from temple, all this is something you messed up. So we do magic, we don't want to eat. So then you make them do some other service like that. Right? Or you carry some gangajal or offered water, and then when you cook for them, they don't see people. Little so then you say, I never offered. Like that. So there are people who, when they know you are a devotee, they will never touch what you cook. So to help them, you have to trick them.
Anukulyasya sankalpam, pratikulyasya varjana.
So service rendered to the Supreme Lord knowingly, unknowingly never goes in vain. So that means there's some positive thing will happen to you. Text 16. Tasya dīnataram vakyam asrutya samahipatihi kala shapshu nidayainam dayalu ninya ashramam. The merciful king, being moved by the pitiable words of the fish, placed the fish in a water jug and brought him to his own residence. Now he has a fish to take care. Text 17. Satu tatraika ratrena vardhamana kamandalau labdvatma vakashamba idam maha mahipatim. But in one night, that fish grew so much that he could not move his body comfortably in the water of the pot. He then spoke to the king as follows. Naham kamandalau asmin Krishram vastum nihotsahe kalpayauka suvipulam yatraham nivase sukam. Oh, my dear king, I do not like living in this water pot with such great difficulty. Therefore, please find some better reservoir of water where I can live comfortably.
Doesn't want to live in a fish tank. Doesn't want to live in a fish tank. He's tired.
Freedom.
Text 19. Sayinam tada adaya Nyadad audanjanodake Patrashipta muhurtena Astatrayam avardata. Then, taking the fish out of the water pot, the king threw him in a large well. But within a moment, the fish developed into the length of 3 cubits. That's what, 24 feet?
Sure, I don't know the concept.
Text 20.
What feet was that?
Huh?
18 inch.
Yeah?
18 inch. 1 cubit.
1.3.
1 cubit is
18 inch.
18 inches.
1.3.
So then he became
1.5
4.5 feet.
4.5 feet.
That's huge.
It's still huge. No?
It's a huge.
The fish then said,
5 feet.
my dear king, did we chant 20?
No.
Namayetad alam rajan Sukam vastu mudanchanam Vitudehi padam hagyam Yatvaham sharanam gatha. fish then said, "My dear king, this reservoir of water is not fit for my happy residence. Please give me a more extensive pool of water, for I have taken shelter of you." Text 21. Tatha adaya sarajna
Tatādāya sārajna
Shibtharajan saravare
Shibthārajan sarovare
Tadavrityadmano soyam
Tadavrityadmano soyam
Mahamino anvavardhata.
Mahamino anvavardhata.
O Maharaj Parikshit, the king took the fish from the well and threw him in a lake. The fish then assumed a gigantic form exceeding the extent of the water. Too much on this fish. Someone else would say, "I don't want to deal with you." But the king is so kind-hearted.
But I'm surprised that they did not need to kill him and eat him, right?
Well, they don't normally eat fish.
It's the lowest.
Yeah,
Meat eaters will do that. Kings
This
will
fish
do
is
that.
top.
not necessarily.
Not very cultural.
Yeah,
No, it's already too big.
they not. Generally, they don't. Text 22. Naitam me swastaye rajan.
Naitam me swastaye rajan.
Rakam salilaukasa.
Murakam sarilaukasa.
Nidehi raksha yogena.
Nidehi raksha yogena.
Ademam avidasini.
Ademam avidasini.
The fish then said, "O king, I'm a large aquatic, and this water is not at all suitable for me. Now kindly find some way to save me. It would be better to put me in the water of a lake that will never reduce." Text 23. Iti uktaso nayam matsyam.
Iti uktaso nayam matsyam.
Tatra vidasini.
Tatra vidasini.
Jalasaye sammitam tam.
Jalasaye asamitam tam.
Samudre prakshipajyasam.
Samudre prakshipajyasam.
When thus requested, King Satyavrata took the fish to the largest reservoir of water. But when that also proved insufficient, the king at last threw the gigantic fish into the ocean. Wonder how he managed that.
Lift it, right? How can you lift
Yeah.
such a big fish?
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking, how can you carry
Probably he's very strong. Yeah. Text 24. Sipyamanastam ahedam.
Sipyamanastam ahedam.
Hama makaradaya.
Hama makaradaya.
Vadanti ati baladira.
Vadanti ati baladira.
Mam nehotsrastum arhasi.
Mam nehotsrastum arhasi.
While being thrown in the ocean, the fish said to King Satyavrata, "Oh hero, in this water there are very powerful and dangerous sharks that will eat me. Therefore, you should not throw me in this place." Text 25. Evam vimohitastena.
Evam vimohitastena.
Vadatha valgu bharatim.
Vadatha valgu bharatim.
Tammahako bhavam asman.
Tammahako bhavam asman.
Matsyarupena mohayan.
Matsyarupena mohayan.
After hearing these sweet words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a fish, the king, being bewildered, asked him, "Who are you, sir? You simply bewilder us." He's still a kind person, no? He didn't say you're a Rakshasa or anything. Text 26. Naivam viryo jalacharo.
Naivam viryo jalacharo.
Dristo smabi sruto piva.
Dristo smabi sruto piva.
Yo bhavam yojana shatam.
Yo bhavan yojana shatam.
Ana divyana seshara.
Ana divyana seshara.
My Lord, in one day you have expended yourself for hundreds of miles, covering the water of the river and the ocean. Before this, I had never seen or heard of such an aquatic animal. Text 27. Nunam tvam bhagavan sakshat.
Nunam tvam bhagavan sakshat.
Hari narayano vyaya.
Hari narayano vyaya.
Anugrahaya bhutanam.
Anugrahaya bhutanam.
Tatsirupam jalokasam.
Tatsirupam jalokasam.
My Lord, you are certainly the inexhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana Shri Hari. It is to show your mercy to the living entities that you have now assumed the form of an aquatic. So he's very smart also. He's devotee, so he understands that. Text 28. Namaste Purusha Shrestha.
Namaste Purusha Shrestha.
Sthiti Utpati Apyayeshvara.
Sthiti Utpati Apyayeshvara.
Bhaktanam na prapannanam.
Bhaktanam na prapannanam.
Mukhyo hi atmagatir vibho.
Mukhyo hi atmagatir vibho.
My Lord, Master of Creation, Maintenance and Annihilation, O best of enjoyers, Lord Vishnu, you are the leader and destination of surrendered devotees like us. Therefore, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Sarve Leelavataraste.
Sarve Leelavataraste.
Bhutanam Bhuti Hetavaha.
Bhutanam Bhuti Hetavaha.
Yatumicchami adorupam.
Yatumicchami adorupam.
Yat artam bhavatadritam.
Yadartham bhavatadritam.
All your pastimes and incarnations certainly appear for the welfare of all living entities. Therefore, my Lord, I wish to know the purpose for which you have assumed this form of a fish. So he is wanting to know why. Text 30. Nate ravindaksha padopasarpanam.
Nate ravindaksha padopasarpanam.
Nisha bhavet sarvasuri priyatmana.
Nisha bhavet sarvasuri priyatmana.
Yadetaresham pritakatmanam satam.
Yadetaresham pritakatmanam satam.
Adidrisho yadvapur adbhutam hina.
Adidrisho yadvapur adbhutam hina.
O my Lord, possessing eyes like the petals of a lotus, the worship of the demigods who are in the bodily concept of life is fruitless in all respects. But because you are the supreme friend and dearmost supersoul of everyone, worship of your lotus feet is never useless. You have therefore manifested your form as a fish. Okay. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, the Lord expands himself through the living beings, Nityo Nityanam Chaitana Chaitananam. His personal Vishnu Tattva forms, which are all spiritual, are called Swangsha. And the living entities or differentiated parts are called Vibhinangsha. Some of the Vibhinangsha forms are spiritual, and some are a combination of matter and spirit. That means they are conditioned. The conditioned souls in the material world are different from the external bodies made of material energy. Thus, the demigods living in the upper planetary systems and the living entities living in the lower planetary system are of the same nature, meaning they are conditioned living souls. Okay. And then later on, Prabhupada says, men of small intelligence worship the demigods. He's quoting from Bhagavad. And their fruits are limited and temporary. Kama ista rikajana prapatyanti anya devata. Those who do not know the position of the demigods are inclined to worship the demigods for some material purpose. But the results of such worship are never permanent. So you can see this king, he understands the position of the supreme person. So he doesn't equate him with the demigods. Rather, he immediately says, you're different from the demigods and worshipping them is useless. That's what he says. Like that. So in the purport, towards the end, Prabhupada says, therefore it's recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tyaktva Swadharmam Charanambujam Hari, that is in the first canto, 5th chapter. One should take to the worship of the lotus feet of Hari. Even if this means giving up the so-called occupational duty assigned because of the particular body one has accepted. So whether you are a Brahmin, Vaishya, Sudra, whatever, it doesn't matter. Most important is you worship Krishna. Make sure you are worshipping Krishna. Don't just have him on the altar in your home. Make sure you worship him. How you worship deities at home? Make sure you do archana, deity worship, bathing, offering. All those must be done. Giving flowers, garlands, new clothing. Don't let the deities have cobwebs growing on them, dust accumulating. Give them new outfits, new crowns, turbans. That is deity worship. Otherwise, having them means what? Boga worship, no? Right? Just to bless the food.
Purified.
Yeah.
Food purifier.
Right? I remember many years ago, one devotee, new devotee, didn't know much. So they offered milk, but it wasn't enough. So they asked the devotee to make some more milk. So the devotee made the milk, but what the devotee did was took the offered milk and mixed it with the unoffered milk. And so
So you offer
the
again.
devotee came and said, okay, where's the milk I want to offer? He said, I already mixed it. So why did you do that? I thought you wanted more milk and there wasn't enough, so I mixed it. Yeah. So sometimes we don't understand these things properly. So we think that is deity worship. So everything we cook, we have to
Offer in
offer. You have to offer. You cannot say Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. That is a nonsense philosophy. Okay? Nobody sometimes say Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. So you can't. Why not say Hare Krishna? Right? And offer in the mind. It's not so difficult. Okay? So according to our position, we should worship Vishnu. It doesn't matter whether we are wealthy or poor, we should always worship Vishnu. And that is the most important thing. If you do it in any other circumstances, it will not bring you the fruit, Prabhupada says.
Prabhu, when we have to offer in the mind, what is the step we have to do?
Same.
We offer.
Yeah, same things. Yeah. You offer to Guru, Param Guru, and then to Panchatattva, and then to your deities, Krishna. Why you have to have, where is a shortcut? So far we have read that nobody took any shortcuts in the Bhagavatam, right?
Sometimes in office we have like some fruits. We just chant Hare Krishna and eat.
Yeah, you offer in the mind to the Lord.
But I don't do like all this.
Oh, you can take the fruit, put it in a plate. In the mind, you can offer so fast. But actually, mine, Manasa Puja should be the same time as the normal. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So you make a plate, bring it to your table, sit down there, close your eyes, and offer. What's the big deal? Offer to your spiritual master. Yeah. Because the food has been cut in different pieces. So offer to your spiritual master. The spiritual master, being merciful and kind, will accept it on your behalf. And then Krishna will accept. If you try to offer to Krishna directly, it won't go.
Yeah.
Won't work. Text 31. Shri Shuka Vacha. Bhuvanam. Yeah, same it. Iti Bhuvanam Nipatim Jagatpati. Satya Vratam Matsya Vapu Yugakshayi. Hatu Kama Pralayarnave Brave. Shikeshure Kanta Jana Priya Priyam. Sukadeva Goswami said, when King Satyavrata spoke in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who at the end of the Yuga had assumed the form of a fish to benefit his devotee and enjoy his pastimes in the water of inundation, responded as follows. So the Lord wanted to actually spot in the water also. So that's another reason why he came in that form. So because there's so many times there's inundation, the Lord doesn't always come in swing. But on that particular time, two reasons. He wanted to give blessings to Satyavrata. And then also at the same time, he wants to swim in the water of inundation. So, two birds with one stone. Text 32. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Saptamehi Adyatanad Urdvam. Aniyetad Arindama. Nimakshyati Abhyayam Bodhau. Trilokyam Bhurvadikam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O King, who can subdue your enemies? On the seventh day from today, the three worlds, Bhu, Bhuvaha, and Swaha, will all merge into the water of inundation. 7 days. This is This is like
Last
the
7 days.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
How many days was Noah's Ark? Flooding?
They say 1 month, right?
30 days? Anyway, they will say we copied from the Bible.
Their idea is very limited. This
Yeah.
earth, we are talking about 3 words.
3 words. Yeah, they have no philosophy. Text 33. Trilokyaniyamanayam
Trilokyaniyamanayam
Samvartam Vasivaitada
Samvartam Vasivaitada
Upastasyati Naukachit
Upastasyati Naukachit
Vishala Tvam Mayerita.
Vishalatam Mayerita.
When all the 3 worlds merge into the water, a large boat sent by me will appear before you. That's interesting. So where's the king? If the 3 worlds are merged into the water. Text 34 and 35. Tvam tavad oshadi sarva
Tvamtavasoshadi sarva
Bijani uchavachani cha
Bijani uchavachani cha
Saptarishvi parivritaha
Saptarishvi parivritaha
Sarvasatvo pabrimhitaha
Sarvasatvo pabrimhitaha
Arudya brihatin navam
Arudyahatinalavam
Vicharishyasi aviklavaha
Vicharyasya viklavaha
Ekarnave niraloke
Ekarnave niraloke
Chinameva varchasa.
Vishinameva varchasa.
Thereafter, king, you shall collect all types of herbs and seeds and load them on that great boat. So it's the same thing. Huh? Then, accompanied by the 7 rishis, are surrounded by all kinds of living entities, you shall get aboard that boat, and without moroseness, you shall easily travel with your companions on the ocean of inundation. The only illumination being the effulgence of the great rishis. So complete, no, even Surya is not there. Complete darkness, because Brahma is sleeping, demigods are all gone sleeping. Text 36. Dodu yamanam tam navam
Doduyamanam tam navam
Samirena baliyasa
Samirena baliyasa
Upastitasya me shringe
Upastitasya me shringe
Nibadnihi mahahina.
Nibadnihi mahahina.
Then as the boat is tossed about by the powerful winds, attach the vessel to my horn by means of the great serpent Vasuki, for I shall be present by your side. So again, Vasuki had to do his service. Text 37. Aham tvam rishibhi sardam
Aham tvam rishibhi sardam
Sahanavam udanvati
Sahanavam udanvati
Karshan vicharishyami
Karshan vicharishyami
Yavad brahmi nisha prabho.
Yavad brahmi nisha prabho.
Pulling the boat with you and all the rishis in it, O king, I shall travel in the water of devastation until the night of Lord Brahma's slumber is over.
Oh, this is a long time.
Whole night. That's like 7 manvantaras. Yeah.
Yeah.
7 manvantaras.
14.
No, 14 is total, no?
In a day.
In a day,
Daylight
day,
is
no?
14 and
14
then night.
Oh,
Night is 14.
Yes, yes. You're,
1,000 Chaturyugas.
yeah. Another
Full cycle.
full cycle. Prabhupada writes in the purport to explain about this devastation. This particular devastation actually took place not during the night of Lord Brahma, but during his day. For it was during the time of Chakshusha Manu. Brahma's night takes place when Brahma goes to sleep. But in the daytime there are 14 Manus, one of whom is Chakshusha Manu. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that although it was daytime for Lord Brahma, Brahma fell sleepy for a short time by the supreme will of Brahma.
This is Sandhya, basically, Manvantars.
Yeah, Sandhya.
Manu Sandhya.
This short period is regarded as Lord Brahma's night. This has been elaborately discussed by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So you can read that. The following is a summary of his analysis, because Agastya Muni cursed Swayambhuva Manu during the time of Swayambhuva Manu, a devastation took place. This devastation is mentioned in the Matsya Purana. During the time of Chakshusha Manu, by the supreme will of the Lord, there was suddenly another pralaya, a devastation. This is mentioned by Markandeya Rishi in the Vishnu Dharmottara. At the end of Manu's time, there is not necessarily a devastation. But at the end of the Chakshusha Manvantara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his illusory energy, wanted to show Satyavrata the effects of devastation. And Srila Swami also agrees with this opinion. Okay?
That's why only 3 worlds are destroyed.
Yes.
No.
Text 38. Madhyam Mahimanam cha
Madhyam Mahimanam cha
Param Brahmeti Sabditam
Param Brahmeti Sabditam
Vichyasi Anugrihitam Me
Vesyasi Anuhitam Me
Samprashnair Vivritam Ridhi.
Samprashnair Vivritam Ridhi.
You will be thoroughly advised and favored by me. And because of your inquiries, everything about my glories, which are known as Param Brahma, will be manifest within your heart. Thus you will know everything about me. What a blessing, huh? Amazing. And Prabhupada makes us understand how the Lord can do that, because He's already the super soul in our heart. So He can Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam. So He can make us even remember or give us more intelligence like that. Okay? So that's very nice. And then finally, for a devotee who is trying to reach the Lord and he doesn't know what else to do, then the Lord, out of compassion, because He's in the heart, He will destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Okay. So it may appear that King Satyavrata also wanted to go back to Godhead. Yeah? And so the Lord is here helping him.
Personally taking it.
Huh? Personally helping him to go back. Text 39. Itham adisya rajanam
Ityam Adishya Rajanam
harir antara diyata
Sariyantara Diyata
sonva vaikshata tam kalam
Sonva Vaikshata Kalam
yam rishikesha adisha.
Yam Rishikesha Adisha.
After thus instructing the king, the Supreme Personality of God immediately disappeared. Then King Satyavrata began to wait for that time of which the Lord had instructed.
So it does take a long time to go back to God, and they had to wait for the entire night of Brahma.
Yeah.
Also, he is not going immediately. He has to come again as a Manu in
Manu
and next Manvantara.
Yeah, because he's very qualified person. Yeah, when the jiva is very qualified, then he can do service for the Lord. The Lord retains them
In the material world.
to do the service. But if he's unqualified, or if he's just not that great, then the Lord will just when he is qualified to be a devotee, the Lord he's great anyway when he becomes a devotee. So the Lord, for that duration, he has no other service. The Lord takes him back. But if he has ability to do other things, then the Lord will keep him. Yeah. Otherwise, if there's no one qualified, then the Lord has to come himself. So he's thinking, why I have to come? Let this guy do.
So a soul can go back to Vaikuntha, stay there for some time.
Yes.
God has some demand.
Not demand. The Lord will request. Generally, the all these acharyas who come, it's because the Lord requests them to come and serve, help out in the jivas. They don't want to come.
Yeah, who wants to come from
Yeah,
there, right?
the pure devotees don't want to leave the Lord's association. Why would they want to come? They don't want to come. They are happy playing with him.
Prabhupada mentioned that he was sent like that.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to come, no? Prabhupada. Krishna said, no, you have to. So finally he agreed. Because you can't say no to Krishna anyway. So they agreed. Text 40. Astirya darban prakulan Rajarishi prakudan mukaha
Rajarshi Prabudan Mukaha
Nishashada hare padau
Nishada Hare Pradav
Chintayan Matsya Rupina.
Chintayan Masya Rupina.
The spreading kusha with its tips pointing east, the saintly king himself facing the northeast sat down on the grass and began to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who had assumed the form of a fish. तथा समुद्र उद्वेलः
तथा समुद्र उद्वेलः
सर्वथा प्लावयन् महिम्
सर्वथा प्लावयन् महिम्
वर्धमानो महामेघै
वर्धमानो महामेघै
वर्षद्भिः समदृश्यता.
वर्षद्भिः समदृश्यते.
Thereafter, gigantic clouds pouring incessant waters swelled the ocean more and more. Thus the ocean began to overflow onto the land and inundate the entire world. So this is how pralaya happens. No? Text 42. So maybe all the water levels are rising could be some form of pralaya for us. Text 42. Dhyayan Bhagavad Adesham.
Dhyayan Bhagavad Adesham.
Dadrishe Navamagatam.
Dadrishe Navamagatam.
Namaruroha Viprendraya.
Namaruroha Viprendraya.
Adayaushadi Virudaha.
Adaushadi Virudaha.
As Satyavrata remembered the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he saw a boat coming near him. Thus he collected herbs and creepers and accompanied by saintly brahmanas, he got aboard the boat. Obviously, he must have collected all of them prior, but not at that time when he's running around. Right? So don't think we may be like that, but he already organized everything, just waiting for the boat.
Especially during Tulsi Aarti,
Yeah.
something is missing from the place. Either the lighter is missing or I don't know.
Why is it missing? Well, yeah. It happens all the time. I always wonder, why does it happen?
Only 5 items, but still we miss.
Yeah, so we can see our good fortune. Right? We can't focus properly. Text 43. Tamuchu munaya prita.
Tamuchu munaya prita.
Rajandya yasva keshavam.
Rajandya yasva keshavam.
Savaina sankata asma.
Savaina sankata asma.
Vitasham vidashyati.
Vitasham vidashyati.
Saintly Brahmanas, being pleased with the king, said to him, O king, please meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Keshava. He will save us from this impending danger and arrange for our well-being. So may they are also afraid, no? So have you seen when the waves in the ocean is really high? It's scary, you know.
I saw in San Jose that area.
Mm-hmm.
They can go 12, 13 feet high.
That's nothing. That's nothing. I'm talking about 30 feet, 40 feet.
So that is tsunami, more like.
No, even in ocean, whenever there is storm,
Yeah.
you can easily go.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, normal way, gale storm like that. So scary. So imagine this is pralaya. This is like tsunami. Tsunami means we are talking about hundreds of feet. Yeah, it's not like only when it's a few feet, it has devastation, but it's not as bad, you know. But generally, tsunamis are 500 foot in the ocean. By the time they come to inland, due to the way the land mass is, they may go down a bit. But if the backflow hits it, they can even rise over that. Then they can come high. Recently, in Iceland, I think, no, in US, no, there was an ice that in the side of a mountain, huge piece just fell, and these people are watching, you know. Huh?
Greenland? Something like that.
Is it Greenland or in US? No. This like they all tourists are watching, you know, like maybe 2-3 miles only. And then the huge
One of the
side.
cruises, maybe.
The huge piece of the mountain like that, the ice fell in the ocean. Then you can see the water slowly going up.
Yeah.
You know, people are running. So they all escaped. By the time the water came in, because it's a short distance, the water only came a few feet inland, but it didn't come as a huge tsunami. So here the Brahmanas are afraid. I'm thinking they are kind of worried, because they say he will save us from this danger. Text 44. Sonu dyatas tato rajna.
Sonu dyatas tato rajna.
Radurasim maharnave.
Radurasim maharnave.
Ekashringadaro matsyo.
Ekashringadaro matsyo.
Aimoniyuta yojanaha.
Aimoniyuta yojanaha.
Wow. Then, while the king constantly meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a large golden fish appeared in the ocean of inundation. The fish had one horn and was 8 million miles long.
Million miles.
Right? It's inconceivable.
So the 7 islands,
Yeah.
7 oceans,
Everything.
Bhumandal.
Yeah. The whole Bhumandala bigger than that.
But this is not in Earth actually.
That's why the Bhumandala.
Yeah.
Entire 3 were.
Not in Earth.
Yeah.
It's out
Because
there.
8 million miles
Yeah.
of the fish.
Our universe width is 4 billion
Yeah,
miles.
yeah, yeah.
So 8 million, still he can freely move from
Yeah,
there. In a
yes,
space.
yes. We know that. They're just trying to say where he's already beyond the water has already covered the three planes already. So he's above that.
Very difficult to
The
conceive.
golden in color,
Okay, one horn.
one horn,
8 million.
yeah, 8 million miles long. So there's a painting. I think some devotees did. So he has the horn comes out like a satellite pole like that. So Vasuki is
Again,
tied. Yeah.
Prabhu.
Text 45. Nibadhyanavam tatshringe.
Nibadhyanam tatshringe.
Yatokto harinapura.
Yatokto harinapura.
Varatrena hina tustas.
Varatrena hina tustas.
Tustava madhusudanam.
Tushava madhusudanam.
Following the instructions formally given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the king anchored the boat to the fish's horn using the serpent Vasuki as a rope. Thus being satisfied, he began offering prayers to the Lord. So that means he also knows about Vasuki, he has access to Vasuki, and Vasuki has agreed to do the service. Text 46.
So
Yes.
here is the picture,
Yeah.
and like a giant pole, like an antenna.
Mm.
And there are palaces on top of Matsya. That's how they painted.
Palaces on top of
Top
it.
of Matsya.
Yeah,
There are
because
poles.
it's
In the book,
Snake
yeah.
people.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's okay.
Different versions.
Yeah. Some of the newer versions don't have many pictures.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, actually, paintings help.
So
Okay, text 46, the prayers of the king. Sri Rajo Vacha.
Sri Raja Vacha.
Anada Vidyo Pahatatma Samvita.
Adavidyo paharatma samvita.
Tanmula Samsara Parishramadura.
Tanmula samsara vaishnatura.
Yadrichayopasritayam apnuyur.
Yadrichayopasritayam apnuyu.
Vimukti dona paramo guru bhava.
Vimukti dona paramo guru bhava.
The king said, by the grace of the Lord, those who have lost their self-knowledge since time immemorial and who have, because of this ignorance, are involved in a material, conditional life full of miseries, obtain the chance to meet the Lord's devotee. I accept that Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supreme Spiritual Master. So it is true, the Lord is the original spiritual master. So Prabhupada says that the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is actually the Supreme Spiritual Master. He knows about our suffering and therefore he comes personally or he sends his representative to help us. Right? So many times he comes personally or a plenary portion of a plenary portion of a plenary portion or sometimes Shakti Vesh of divinely empowered or Jiva Atma divinely empowered. So it comes. So Prabhupada says in all cases, however,